Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
Good morning. Good afternoon. And good evening, wherever you are in the world. Hope you're well, hope you're fine. Great to have you all on again. It's 7:30 and we're going to be talking about websites, SEO, and we're going to be talking about other bits and bobs with a good friend of mine, Anthony Brindley, who's going to be taking us through some stuff today. So I hope you're well, hope you're fine. So good evening, Anthony. All right?
Yeah, very good. Thank you. How are you?
Good. All's good at this end. So we normally get the riff-raff done first. What we do is we speak to those and then go from there. So guys, just to say, I just wanted to say for those people, by the way, that are in our Facebook chat group. So if you're not a member, by the way, you'll all know about this. But anyway, this is a membership site. It's you can go back and you can join if you like our membership system on YouTube, and you can get all the benefits of the 3 tiers that we've got there. We've got a $4.99, an $8.99, and a $90 or pound tiered system, and all the tiers and everything will tell you what they are. And we've also got a Facebook group that's open to all those people that are with us as well, that are doing that are, that are with us. They get access to a Facebook group, and some of the videos that we're going up today, absolutely outstanding. Well done, folks. And I saw Jackie's and I saw Max's. Max, you look like you've been watching somebody too much. That's all I'm going to say. But no, great stuff. Great stuff anyway. So I'm getting through all the videos. You've got to understand that I get so many requests to do stuff. Unbelievable. So that's all good. So Briandon, he's top of the list again. He's getting the brownie points of being the first person up again. Oh my God, he missed out for 2 days. I bet you were really gutted about that. He'll be signed up, ready for tomorrow. Evening, Briandon. Subliminals, hope you're well. Max, hope you're well over in California. Hope you're well. David McHugh, hope you're well down in sunny New Zealand. Well, from what I just read from your young lady, it's freezing down there. A bit like on the east coast of East Anglia at the moment. It's absolutely throwing it down like nobody's business at the moment in time. And last night, I thought God had a problem with the rest of the planet because of the sheet thunder that we were having last night. It was bonkers. Did you have it last night, Anthony?
No, we escaped it, thankfully.
Oh my God, we had sheet thunder last night. It was just blue, flashing blue. Anyone in East Anglia or on my side of the patch on the East Coast would have got it last night. Dave McHugh, Donna Marsh, hope you're well, hope you're fine. Carol, hope you're well, hope you're fine. Oh, that's me. I don't want to be doing that, do I? Lee, hope you're well, hope you're fine. Don't forget to come this way next time. Colette, hope you're well. Jackie, hope you're well, hope you're fine. Cheryl, my darling, hope you're well. Mario, great to have you on, to speak to you earlier, my friend. Jules, I've got both your emails just sorting out as we speak. Hypnose, Therapeutic, hope you're well, hope you're fine. Carl Sumner, hope you're well, hope you're fine. Deborah G, hope you're well. Eddie, all right, my sweetheart. Simon, hope you're well. Roger, hope you're well. And going through it. Guys and girls, we will have to get Cheryl and Larry on here one day so we can do a live on YouTube with them as well. So yeah, it's been good. I think we're coming up to close to 3 months of doing this now, and it's been absolute fun, and getting more people on as we go along. Got a list that's growing up there. We've got everything from Bobby Burns to EMDR to God knows what else is going on as well. So there's tons on there, and I might put Cheryl and Larry on there as well, so we can do a YouTube live with them as well to do some stuff. So I hope you're well, hope you're fine, guys, and yeah, we're going to get on with it in a moment. So yeah, don't forget, guys, if you are using Facebook and you haven't given permission, James, hope you're well, by the way, in Bulgaria. If you haven't given permission to Facebook to use your name, then it won't come up. It'll just tell me Facebook users. So don't forget to go into StreamYard, allow StreamYard to use it, and then we'll go from there. So hope you're well, hope you're fine. Guys and girls, so I'm just going to introduce you to Anthony. We're going to talk about websites. We're going to talk about SEO and all that type of stuff. And we're going to go about that. So yeah, all's good. Don't forget, if you've got any questions, please pile them in. I mean, I've been working with Anthony now, probably about 4 years now. I think it is probably about 4 years. Is it 4 years?
5 years, yeah.
Yeah, about 4 or 5 years. And we invite Anthony to come on the end of the course on any diplomas and stuff like that. Really, all right there, ready. What we do is we ask people to to come on and guest speak, and Anthony does the last slot, because business and getting yourself out there is one of those big things that that I'm big on, and it's about getting your mouth out there. It's not about just dancing around and all that type of stuff. So cool. So just first off, Ant, just tell us who you are, where you're from, and all that type of stuff. All right.
Yeah, so I'm Anthony. I build websites. I own a company called Showcase Web Development, and been building websites now for small businesses probably the last 10 years, more or less. Obviously been working with you for 4 or 5 of those, and you've introduced me to loads of therapists who, I've built websites for, and yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah, cool. So tell us about the importance of a good website. Why do we need a good website? From somebody who's spent tens of thousands of pounds on websites, why do we need a good website?
Well, as you all know, a website is your storefront. It's your image, your window to the world. And if you want to portray an image of being professional and knowing what you're talking about, having a good website is the first place that you really need to be doing that in order to maximize your potential online. Most people, especially in a therapy kind of setting, want to convey the fact that they're good at what they do. That's really important in a trust sense. And to get that into your website and make it as professional and what the word is, just connect with your audience, which a lot of people overlook. It's really important.
So some people on here may use free websites. What's your thoughts on and what's the problems with using free websites compared to a bespoke or a made website?
So the thing that I come across the most is that people often compare what you get for if you pay someone to do a good job and if you can do it yourself. And the gulf in what's actually done is enormous. If you built a website, you'd probably be quite good at building a website. But if Joe Bloggs built a website that they thought was quite good, and then a web developer came along and built a website, you would notice that gulf in class because of the stuff that goes on behind the scenes or subconsciously. So, color schemes, branding, calls to action placement, performance, just experience in that industry. It pays dividends to invest in a website. In much the same way as investing in a training to be a hypnotherapist, you wouldn't go and brag a script generally. First time off the bat, you want to know what you're doing a bit first, and then be comfortable making a script because you know what you're doing. You know the boundaries and how things work effectively. Yeah, cool. That's what you're paying for.
So, the thing that I was going to mention then is that look, for you guys that know me that are watching this now, I started off. I'll be brutally honest. I started off with what are they called in England? Vistaprint. I remember when I first started, it used to drive me insane. And if websites are driving you insane, let me know in the comments box, or they've driven you insane. Is that I got my first ever website, and you upload your photographs, you upload this and all that, and there's not a lot of movement. You can't do a lot with those free ones, especially with the Vista ones when they first came out. Probably about over 10 years ago. They were very much, you put a picture here, you put a little bit of spill here, you put another picture here, and then it was very blocked. On the same token, I used to go back to it every night. I was never happy with it. And I was going to it. I was playing around with it. I was tweaking it. And then every night I'd tweak the words. I'd do something with it. I'd upset it. Then I realized after 6 months, I hadn't done any of the SEO. And then when I did do the SEO, I realized that, or search engine optimization or tag. So I hadn't done any of that. The meta tags, I hadn't done any of that. So my website was just wandering around the internet, not really doing anything. There was no guidance or any stability. But what I have done is over the past year, it's like we redeveloped. If anyone's interested, by the way, in wanting to know like what type of website Anthony does, if you go to my Karl Smith Hypnotherapy, Anthony did that one for me. And the key thing is that karlsmithhypnotherapy.com. Yeah, so if you go to my Karl Smith Hypnotherapy, you'll get the type of website that Ant builds. It's just a case of when you use something that's free, they're not flexible. And plus, correct me if I'm wrong, do they have a search engine inhibitor, or are you slowed down by search engine because of using something like on GoDaddy or something like that?
Yeah, so if you think about it, like in order to make something free or easily usable by people with no experience, it has to be dumbed down, for lack of a better word. A lot of the features are stripped out or at least hidden to the average Joe. So you can't get the full benefits of, tweaks and customization that you can do if you're a web developer, because the system has to be applicable to as many people as possible. Basically, these kind of build-it-yourself sites are built for the masses, to be able to get something online. And what I've found, and what you've alluded to already, is that quite often that's quite detrimental rather than helpful from the outset, really. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. So what I was going to say is talk about SEO. Let's talk about SEO. What, in your opinion, and just explain what is SEO? What is search engine optimization from your point of view?
From my point of view, SEO is basically the art or the skills involved in getting Google to understand that your website is relevant to a particular search or searches. So all Google is a question and answer service. So you ask it a question and it brings back you results that are as close or as relevant to your question as possible in an effort to answer that question. So SEO is the act of telling Google this site is relevant to questions relating to this. So whether that be having keywords was the easy one back in the year dot of SEO, when you would type the keywords hundreds of times in white on a white background, and Google would pick up those because they were in code. So SEO has advanced from that and is now basically a combination of technical skills as well as site architecture, so knowing the best way to structure a site so that people can use the site most effectively and Google can index or catalog the site most effectively, but also behavioral as well, how you use your site, how your visitors use your site, and also things like social. You are a champion of social usage, so you know the importance of being able to be contactable by social media, and having that, those relevant search terms in everything you talk about or you release content about is relevant to your website, basically. And it all makes a giant big net, and it leads everyone back to your site, where you hopefully have structured the site in a way that it will generate leads for you and help bring revenue into your business.
So when we're looking at SEO, is it something that you would bring a specialist in for, or would you do it yourself?
It's a difficult one because it's so labor intensive. I've already outlined 3 different levels of work that you would need to do. Most businesses can't afford to bring a specialist in from the outset. So you have to kind of learn as you go and try and understand it initially. That's the way I would go, and that's the way I did go. And then you can either get a feel for what works and what doesn't work. You get more of an understanding of SEO and how it's implemented. And then when you're delegating it or outsourcing it to an SEO professional, you understand what they're doing, and your expectations are, they're backed by your own experience in dabbling in SEO yourself. So I'd recommend trying to understand it from a basic level first, and then moving on and seeing how far you can progress in your own knowledge. And then if you get to a point where it does become labor intensive, like I say, trying to think of 3 things to post a day on social media, in between having a family or having a family life and running a business, can be, for a lot. And once that happens one day, that becomes 2 days, 3 days, and then before you know, you've let it slip. So there are advantages to outsourcing it, but it can be quite expensive because it's so labor intensive.
Okay, cool. Yeah, first question comes in. So what would Anthony require from us? A resume of courses completed. Look at our to look at our existing website. So you can contact Anthony, by the way. if you want to talk to him about websites, like I said, guys, I don't get anything for this, and Anthony's not giving me anything for this. I brought it on because it's something that I do see in groups all the time. If you want to, his details are, if I just get this, his details are there. So it's showcasewebdevelopment.co.uk. Even if you're abroad, you can still contact. And anyway, so showcasewebdevelopment.co.uk, like that. But let me just come back to that. So, yeah, you know, at the end of the day, if you've got a website and you want it to be looked over, to checked and all that type of stuff, what is it you do again? What is it that you did it for mine? Not a survey. No, not a survey. Site audit. Site audit. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. So here's another good one. How do you know? I take it. How far you know when SEO is working? Jules, I'm taking the piss. So how do you know? How do you know when SEO is working? Well, from my perspective, when you start seeing your website climbing the charts, when you start to see your website start to grow and grow, and that comes with a couple of things as well. Good SEO and age. I don't know what your opinion is on that. How do you know when SEO is working?
So you'll start to see lots of traffic. Really, that's the biggest indicator, isn't it? You know, if your SEO is working, that means that you're coming up in search results, in more search results, in better positions. We all know, and we've all heard, that the first page of Google is like gold dust, and then the further down the list you are in the return search results, the less likely you are to get any traffic. So if you start to see the traffic on your site increasing, you'll start to see more form submissions, and if you should really have Google Analytics installed, it's free, but you have to log into that, and you'll see literally traffic coming from Google increasing, and that will give you an indicator as to what's working and what's not.
Do you know what? This is one key thing as well that you have to understand, and this comes from my business, marketing, and then therapist viewpoint, is that some of you may find this sick, right? And I don't mind, but I actually sit there watching my analytics every single day. I watch my analytics every day. What has happened? Where's it come from? Did something spike? Where did it spike from? All of those things there. What was my bounce rate? I mean, I'll come on to that in a moment because that's important. But on the same token, why did they bounce off my website? Why did they stay on my website? Where did they look? If you knew the extent, if you guys go to if you go to UK Hypnosis Academy or Mental Welfare Coach, I can actually watch you at about 30 seconds behind you where you are. I wouldn't know who you are, but I would know roughly where you are in the country, and I can follow what you're doing on my website as per. I can watch where, this is how sick it gets. I can watch where your cursor's been, not in real time. I can watch where it's clicked, find out where the hot spots are, where I can find out where people are clicking, where they're going on the website, and watch their journey on the website. That's how sick puppy I am, right? It's not because I'm a voyeurist. It's not because there's anything, you know, all I can see really is what your mouse is doing, what you did prior to that event. So I can watch the playback. I can watch where you were, what you did next, where you went, and all of that type of stuff there. If you get into the real nitty gritty of all of this, that's how much of a sick bastard I am. And I love watching, not in a voyeuristic way, but I like watching what people are doing. I've actually changed something on the UK Hypnosis Academy website tonight because we watched that a certain thing was not being hit. So we thought, well, let's just remove it and we'll rename it. So something's happening at the moment because we've realized that the stats, that part's not being hit. Why is it not being hit? I know why it's not being hit now, because I'm not doing something. That's fine. So I'm going to re-engineer it because we watched it. And little things like that, and hotspots, watching those type of things there are so vitally important. Guys, you don't have to worry about that. I'm telling you that the extent that I go to of watching Google Analytics all day long, not all day long, but I watch it. I go, one of my first jobs is I'll come in and click on Google Ads and I'll find out, how much have I earned this month from Google Ads, how much have I earned from Google, sorry. how much I've earned, not paid, how much I've earned from Google this month, and or during the night. And then what the other thing as well is I'll go look at the websites to see and track what's actually been going on. And if you didn't know, you can actually see continents where people are coming in from. You can see how long they've been on the website for on Google as well. You can see where they've come from, how long they've been on for, and you can also as well watch the journey. I can't remember what it's called now, but you can watch how they got to your website and then the journey until they drop off your website. So there are so many things that are in the background, and a lot of people just think, oh, I'm just a hypnotist. I'm not. I mean, I had a well-known TV producer in my room the other day, and I'll tell you now, he was gobsmacked at the amount I knew about TV cameras and playing around with cameras, all that type of stuff. And when I sit there and talk to web developers about the extent of how much I know about the behind the scenes, that's one of the key things as well, because that's what I want to get across to you guys, is that this is stuff that if you learn it, then if you do meet, this is why Anthony does a lot of my work, because if you find a web developer, a good web developer, you stay with them, because there's so much shite out there, and that's the point. So anyway, I'll come off of that. Right. So could you explain what a bounce rate is? What your bounce rate is? I know what it is.
Yeah, so a bounce rate is when someone does a Google search for a question, obviously, and then they land on your site as one of the answers, and then immediately realize that it's not the right site for them. Either doesn't answer the question or they don't have a look at it, and they jump off again within 3 seconds. So as you can imagine, somebody literally bouncing straight off your site. So for Google, that's a negative indicator, because it's like, okay, we thought this was the right answer for this question, but this person's actions said that it wasn't. So next time that question's asked, then we're not going to bring this site forward as often.
And how can you stop a bounce rate? Your bounce rate from going down, I should say.
Well, you can improve your bounce rate by making sure that the questions that you are answering are really specific. So general answers to specific questions don't work typically. So you want to make sure that you are thinking about the kind of questions, and this is the basis of all web development. What is the user thinking? What are they after? And how do we give them as quickly as possible? So how much does hypnotherapy cost in wording, for instance? It's a very specific search term. They want to land on a page. If there's no price on that page, you're not relevant to that answer, to that question. So it's just about the thought process behind what questions do I, my website, want to answer. And by being ultra specific, your bounce rate will come down. It takes time, obviously. There's always going to be that whole A/B testing. Does this work? How does this work instead? Does this work even better? But yeah, you just have to be really specific and understand and think about what your users experiencing.
What I found, especially by adding some stuff to the back end of my website, so I can sit there and watch what people are doing, is the videos. The videos have actually captured people on there for longer and kept people on there. So on there, on the website, I can watch them. They hit the landing page, the front page. They hit the main page, and then they hit the video. They'll listen to the video, and then they'll go to whatever journey they're going to. But each page has got its own video on there. And the other thing as well that cuts out the bounce rate as well is that if you have got a website, correct me if I'm wrong, Ant, but I make sure that every single page, my home page will stay open. But if they go to another page, it doesn't just bounce over to that. What it does do is it keeps the home page open, then opens another page up and another page up. So what it does do is it keeps your home page and everything, your website, them on your website. And what you can find is that people will leave that open and then just stay open on it. So by getting them, so if they click to, let's say, services, by going to services, the home page is still open in the background, and then they can do it that way. Videos and making sure that the links on my website work, and obviously opening another page is another way of doing it as well. So let me just come back to this as well. Wendy. Good evening, Wendy. I don't know if I said hello to you earlier. Wendy has just said, how much would you expect to pay for a basic bespoke website design?
Good question. Yeah, it depends what you're after specifically. So I would assume a basic bespoke website design. Are we talking bespoke as in you're going to provide a design which then needs to be custom coded, or bespoke as in we'll take a template as a base, and then we will add your logo and your content and your images to make it bespoke to your business? There's different sort of levels to go to, but I would suggest you get what you pay for, and what you're paying for really is a developer's time. So the more time you want your developer to invest in your business, into your website, the more budget should be available for that. I would typically say anywhere between, a cheap and nasty website would be £600 to £700, up to the couple of £1,000 really, for a really custom, all singing, all dancing, very well optimized therapist website, I would suggest, as a ballpark figure.
And don't forget, it does come down to as well, not just the website, but it does come down to what type of server it's sitting on.
Yeah.
Because there are certain servers out there that just sit there and just do their job and they mill around, and you'll get a load time speed roughly around 5 seconds, which is fairly slow, or you can get one that's in at about 0.5 of a second or something like that, can't you? It all depends what way you want to go with it. It's about how much you want to do with it. When we look at bespoke websites, the other thing that you've got to look at as well, and especially answering this question, is Anthony's job is to put the framework in place. Your job is to put the words in there. Now, this is quite interesting because I will be getting Jamie on from Copy Chomp, and Anthony's worked with him. You've worked with Jamie, haven't you?
Yeah.
I'm going to get him to yeah, of course he has. He's done Carl Smith footwear. So a copywriter, we all sit there and we all say, oh, well, I can do my own words and this, that, and the other. Yes, you can probably. I'm probably one of the most illiterate monkeys on the planet, to be quite honest. I am the prime example of why you don't leave school at 15 and 2 months. So the thing is, and sit there at 13 going, I'm not doing anything but the army. I'm not doing anything but the army, because that's what happened. So I don't tend to write my own material for my own website. I could do. However, they are not search engine optimized as well. And that's something you've got to look at as well, because you want to get hypnosis and hypnotherapy into your work, or whatever it is, CBT, EMDR. You want to get all that into it, but you don't want to consistently have hypnosis, hypnotherapy, I hypnosis, and then I hypnosis, and then I hypnotize, because that's not right. You want to be able to tell a story, but get the SEO at the same time. So the other thing that you've got to take into consideration when you're doing a website, and I will get Jamie on, is that Anthony's job is to build the website and build you a framework that you like, and put your pretty lotus flowers and little unicorns wherever you want them, right? But the thing is that his job is to optimize that. Then it's your job to put the words in. Every single one of my websites has been specially done. I've spent thousands of pounds on this stuff, but on the same token, you don't need to, but on the same token, it's always worthwhile to get somebody in called a copywriter to do that. And I will get a copywriter on this channel who does all my work for me to talk about that. So there's that. So in answer to your question, Wendy, how much is it to pay for a bespoke website? You could pay anything from 400. And in my experience, one of my websites at the present moment in time, just the website on its own costs £5,000, then the copyright on top. So you could pay anything from free to roughly where I am at the moment, probably about £7,500 for the mental welfare coach. And that's because that was bespoke and done by a copywriter. The UK Hypnosis Academy is roughly the same. And then we had Anthony who did mine, at the end of the day. And it's a grand job, to be quite honest. They all do the same thing. But in the same token, there was some extra gadgets in the background for the other two that I needed. So, yeah, there's that.
Just to interject, if I may, some of the other things to consider as well are things like having a logo or some kind of visual branding. So images as well for your business. You can't just nab them off Google. There's a bit of money that should be spent on either iStock or one of the good image platforms. All these things add extra value to your website, but they cost money at the outset as well. So
yeah, they don't cost a lot of money though for a picture though. There's all little things that add up like that. I mean, we're not trying to scare anyone, but it's a case of you know, a lot of people say to me, oh, I'm going to go to Wix or I'm going to go to Squarespace or something like that. And they're all well and good. They're nice and clean. They're nice and tidy. However, they do have their downfalls. They really do have little blips on there. And they do inhibit some of the things. Wendy, I don't really understand all of this stuff. No, and that's why he's doing this tonight. That's why he's doing this. That's why Anthony's on here. So we can talk about it. And then if you've got any questions, you can go to him. All right, you can do that. I've got a copywriter to do my content well worth the money. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Bespoke, as in not Wix, GoDaddy, etc. Just gauging what I would need to set aside for a business. I mean, if you gauge around about 1,200, no, I don't know really. What would you say?
I mean, if you look at about £1,200, it's a comfortable budget, but you don't have to have that all up front. So I know that I've worked with therapists and other businesses to begin with where I had a deposit just to buy the initial assets, including images, that kind of stuff, and then paid the rest off in monthly installments. Right? It doesn't have to be, you don't need a big pot of money sat there to begin with. A good web developer is invested in your business, is there for you to help throughout.
See, the key thing about this is, and I'm going to say it again, it's not how much it costs you, it's how much it's going to make you. So if you're charging £99, let's say you're charging £99 per client, right? That's 12 clients you need to get it. That's the way I always do my math. I do that in my head, and I do that. And I knew a mental welfare coach that when I used another guy, because we were doing some other stuff in the background that was not Ant's thing, and that's the only reason I went that way. The only reason that we did that is because, and I said to myself, I'm going to invest that £7,500 in that mental welfare coach. When I did that, what that automatically did is it went from what was a basic fundamental crap Wixy type looking website to what I've got now with a mental welfare coach. And it got me one client that paid for that, I would say 4.5 times over, and one client. Because they said, oh, I like to look at your website. One of the first things they said, I like to look at your website. It was very professional and we want to work with you. And that job there got me that big job in Canada that I'm not going to go into, but on the same token, it was a turning point for a business. But if you calculate, if you work from the outset, and lots of therapists don't do this, it's not how much it costs me, how much is it going to make me? And that's the way I look at things. And I always go, right, it's $1,200. I need 12 clients. Simple as. Or I need 6 clients. That's roughly where I am. I need 6 clients for that to pay for that website. And then once that's happened, then it's paid for. What's the next project? Yeah. And that's what you got there. Okay. Simon, can you give a couple of tips to improve SEO as a starting point? Is it the wording on the site, or where would I put it, etc.?
Okay. So the one that everyone overlooked and is the easiest one to do is alt tags on images, I would say. If you don't know what they are, basically there's a tag when you put an image onto a website called alt tag, and it's for people who use screen readers. And Google uses this, because Google can't see your images, to understand what that picture is, and therefore adds to your, the relevancy of your site to certain keyword terms. So you can put your business name in those alt tags, and you're providing a use to your users and Google at the same time. And I think Wix allows you to do it. Every builder I've ever come across allows you to do it, and that's a really easy way to get an SEO boost. Looking at your site speed as well, trying to keep your load speed below 5 seconds, ideally. Anything slower than that, you're going to start to get penalized, I would say. Optimizing images, keeping them to around about 100 kilobytes maximum. So if you don't know how to compress an image, there's some online compressors like jpegcompressor.org, I think it is. And you can just literally upload your image to that. It will compress it, it will shrink it in size, and you can just download it and use that on your site, and that prevents your site slowing down. With regards to the wording, then it's about using human readable language to be relevant to the question being asked. How much is hypnotherapy in Worthing? Your answer would be hypnotherapy in Worthing costs from £99 a session. You've answered that question, and then you would say stuff about that, sessions that are 60 minutes, etc. And because Google's very clever, and they'll pick up on the fact that someone's talking about a service. So the more service-related information you can provide in that text, which is stuff that you will know because you run the service. So it's really easy to run that content. And the more stuff you can pack into that, the more rounded answer you're giving Google, and you'll do better by SEO results.
What was the name of that? I was just trying to find it then. What was the name of that? The thing that talks about, is it called Met something? The one that tests the speed of your website if you put it in the search bar. GT Metrics. That's it. GT Metrics. If you've got a website at the moment, it's called GT Metrics. Let me just find it.
.com.
Yeah, .com. Let me just do that for you. There was a question just then. I like this one. This is going to be good. You like this one? My bounce rate is 89%. Is that bad?
Yes. 9 out of 10 people are jumping straight off your site again.
Yeah, they're hitting it and going, not wanting. That means 89% of the hits that you get on your website, people are going, bye-bye, I'm off.
Within 3 seconds.
Yeah, within 3 seconds. So they're looking at it and going, no, I don't like it. Straight off. That's bad. My UK Hypnosis Academy at the present moment in time was 42 today, and mental welfare coach was around 49. But I get that because I haven't really been pumping that out a lot. I can't remember what Karl Smith hypnotherapy is, but that's around 30. Mine normally fluctuate between 35 and 47, roughly around there. That's where I am. But if you look at it daily, as sickly as I am, then you do get to find out what it is. But I'm always tweaking and making sure like that.
All I use is anything below 50% is exceptional.
Anything below 50 is normally exceptional. Yeah, that's what it is. And I love doing that. There was a question here from Lee. Am I right in thinking SEO is ever-changing game with Google, etc.?
Yes, absolutely. So we've all heard about these Google updates that suddenly businesses have lost, millions of pounds off their bottom lines and stuff. And it's because Google, they're a big powerhouse now, but they're also trying to do better. Their search algorithms are complex, come up with by the most brainy people on the planet, and they're constantly coming up with better ways to provide better and more accurate and faster results for you, the user. So they release these updates periodically because people also, if you think about it, the SEO people, professionals, they're sussing the game out, aren't they? So the websites are getting better and being more manipulated within the search results. And so Google has to react to that and try and see through that manipulation to more realistic and accurate answers to questions.
Just one quick one on here. One thing that I am going to say to you guys is there is no point in cheating. And I'm now going to tell you now that there is no point in cheating this. Google will pat you on the back for not cheating. Let me talk about cheating. Backlinks. Fake backlinks. You could go to fiverr.com tonight and get about 20 or 30 people to put backlinks, but as in not 20, you get 20 or 30 backlinks put on your website tonight if you really wanted to. A backlink is when you get a good website or a bad website connected to your website. So Google says, oh, somebody's attached their website in basic terms. Somebody's attached their website to the back end of yours. There's Google juice. Somebody else has done it. 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 And good good backlinks are like, like some of you that are on my UK Hypnosis Academy. I get you to put your website and connect it to my website. So what happens is that Google looks at mine and says, all these websites, there's 170 people that are connected on there at the moment. You can check what backlinks you've got. There's 170 people on there that literally just backlink to my website, and they're good backlinks. You can cheat the system and go to fiverr.com and go get 1,000 backlinks tonight. The biggest thing is Google will go, They're bad, they're naughty, and will downgrade your website. This SEO and getting backlinks and all that type of thing is about time, taking your time and building and building and building. All I did is 7-8 years ago is realize this stuff, not to the extent of what I know now, because I'm a nerd at it now, but on the same token is that it takes time. So when you're building a brand, when you're looking at your colors, when you're looking at all the things that you're doing, it does take time. Don't cheat, because that's one of the things that I did first do. I thought, oh, just go buy some backlinks. And I went and bought about 200 backlinks and then realized, oh, my website's not going anywhere, until somebody pointed out, no, you've got a bunch of shit backlinks, Karl. So to be quite honest, I think I'm right in saying if you put your website towards mine, so let's say you've got a UK Hypnosis Academy badge on your website, right? If you have that and have it, so it's got, when the client clicks it and it goes to Karl Smith, it goes to UK Hypnosis Academy, that is a backlink, right? So that's technically what a backlink is. So what I've done now is with Karl Smith Hypnotherapy is I've now backlinked Karl Smith Hypnotherapy with the UK Hypnosis Academy, UK Hypnosis Academy with Karl Smith Hypnotherapy, with mental welfare in the background, because all three websites are quite powerful websites, getting lots of hits, which Google go, well, them lot are all in, they're all connected, so there must be some Google juice there. So then they bump it up even further. But don't try and cheat the system, honestly, because it will come back. Google will come back and slap you big. It's the same as YouTube channels. When people buy subscribers, it's a similar process. When people buy subscribers, and you can always tell the channels that have got bought subscribers, because they'll have 950,000 people following them and 3 comments. And you're like, how did 950,000 people miss this? You know, and you can tell that off straight away.
You know, to expand on that point a little bit. Again, with the backlinks, like, it's important, like Karl's touched on it there, with one of the questions that I asked myself, and I didn't understand it fully, was, well, what would be a good backlink and what's a bad backlink? So the way backlinks work is about authority. So if you have a newspaper, you get an article in a newspaper somehow, and they link to your site. A newspaper is huge authority, because people listen to what newspapers say. And then if they then link to your site, that authority basically extends to you, which is why Karl's UK Hypnosis Academy sites, you know, they're all a conglomerate of useful, authoritative information on the web. So getting a backlink from one of Karl's websites is powerful as well. But you wouldn't want somebody in the Philippines who's doing it for $2, has no connection with hypnotherapy at all, because there's no authority there. There's no one's listening to that website. So that would be a drain. That would actually take a small amount of authority, Google juice, as Karl calls it, off your site, away from the site. You have to be kind of careful with it. So the more authoritative site you can get meetings to your site, the better. So
this year, just to let you know, the mental welfare coach, I got gold dust this year. When I worked for the Foreign Commonwealth Office and the Department of Industry and Trade, they put me on their website on a government.
What did you need?
And you're like, the gods have opened up, and that there, because it's such an authority. It's such an authority, a massive authority that have gone, we're connected with this. I then quickly backlink back to them. So if you go to Mental Welfare Coach, you'll notice the 3 badges, and they're connected to the pages, or were connected to the pages that were connected to me. So it shows that there's some form of authority. And we slowly watched it over 2 weeks do this, like that. And I went, throw all the SEO people at it that you can. And that's all we did, because I realized what I'd done. I'd hit a gold mine, really. Obviously, that'll wear out as that web link fabs off and it goes off. But it's still up to this day. That web link is still up. And that's one of the key things as well. I just hit gold. I hit oil straight away. But on the same token, a good one is something that's a powerful website like mine. right? Mine's fairly good. An authoritative website that's got a lot of traffic going to it, that's been there a long time. So those people that are on my Find a Therapist page, those people that have done it, you can backlink. So you have a picture of like that on your website, and then all you do is you put, when people click on that, it then goes straight to the UK Hypnosis Academy. That's a backlink, and that's what you're looking for. And then we backlink to people that have done it to us. So on my Find a Therapist, we backlink all the time. We're doing stuff like that all the time. So there's always those things there, but never cheat. Don't cheat. And you know, if you are getting huge bounce rates, what was that website again? Empty Matrix, wasn't it?
GT Metrics.
GT Metrics, that's it. GT Metrics. If I just put that up for the people.
So other good ideas, just while you're doing that, for backlinks would be any kind of publications relevant to your industry. Publications in your local area, anywhere that has a big reader base, basically. So hypnotherapy journals would be great if you can get one published in there. Anything to do with healthcare, NHS. So if you can get like a mention on an NHS-backed clinic somewhere, great backlink. Obviously, NHS is hugely authoritative as well. Almost is there there's a so anything like that. There's some more ideas really. Anything authoritative, people listen to in your industry, and you can get them to basically vote for your side.
Yeah, that's it. So what I've just put down there, guys, is a thing called gtmetrics.com. If you put your website in there, don't be disheartened, but it will be honest with you about your website. It's going to tell you about broken links. It's going to tell you about shit backlinks. It's going to tell you about all the stuff that you've got on there. But that's interesting. Go to there. It's free. Just put your website in there and literally just wait for the answers to come through. And
make sure you set the locale to your country there as well.
Yeah. So you can do that. So there's a nice little thing there. Who should we back with? Hi, Jane. Okay. What's the difference between a website and a landing page?
So a website is more information based. So it's like a library of information relevant to your service or industry. Whereas a landing page is all of that consolidated into one page with a sole goal of getting you to take an action at the end of that funnel. A landing page is essentially a funnel that will get you to either sign up, to buy something there and then, to make contact, to generate a lead for the business at that point.
And do you have I know this, do you have a landing page for, do you have a landing page on a website?
Yeah, so I tend to try and make as many pages, landing pages as possible. So you want to make it as easy for clients to contact you. So try and have a contact form on every page if you can. You may have specialist landing pages for particular campaigns, which you might not have in your menus. You can send people there and you know they got there via Google Ads, for instance. But what I tend to do as well is on service pages on therapist websites, make them essentially landing pages, because you want people to convert for that particular service. And people know what they're after. People know what, you know, I need help with my eating, so I'm going to find a weight management service. You know, they know what they're after. Give it to them, give them the information and make them click.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Here's a little hack that I used years and years ago, and I know it still works, but I don't know how well it is now. Just going back onto backlinks. And Anthony, don't do anything until Anthony says. But what I did is this, to get my websites off the ground, is I bought every big village around me when I lived in a place called Beccles in Suffolk. And I lived in Beccles. So I bought Lowestoft Hypnotherapy, Southwold Hypnotherapy, Beccles Hypnotherapy, Halesworth Hypnotherapy. I bought all the big villages, those that have got like 10,000 plus people in them, right? And I bought all the big ones around: Southwold Hypnotherapy, Aldeburgh Hypnotherapy, Woodbridge Hypnotherapy. I bought all of those. And then what I did do is I went to Vistaprint at the time, right? But I know you can still do this, but there are better ways of doing it. And what I did is because if you use the same wordage on a website, then Google will slap you for it. They'll say, oh, you've stolen that content, right? So I had to change the wordage and the verbiage and everything like that. But what I did do is I got all of those websites, and at the bottom, the call to action, the CTA, the call to action as in learn more, they would click on that throughout all of these villages. They all had their different things, different pictures, lovely little pictures of the churches that were there and all that type of shit. And then what I did is that at the bottom, the call to action went to one website. On all of these 15 different websites I had, they went to one place, and that was Karl Smith Hypnotherapy. So they were literally, you've got like this big net around your one website. So what you do then is that I was backlinking to them and then raising the profile of Karl Smith Hypnotherapy by having 15 free websites go into one website that literally did that for Google juicing. And I know for a fact that big companies do that now. That's what they do. They buy lots and lots of domains in and around what that is, and then backlinks. And what you're doing is that SEO is huge for your website. Some of you are thinking, what the hell is all that about? But I'll tell you one thing, my website went, didn't have to pay hardly nothing. In fact, no, I don't think I paid anything. And I watched it just scamper up in the local area. And the interesting thing is that Beckles Hypnotherapy would turn up, my website, and then all of the other little websites, because they had Karl Smith written in them, was building this massive picture. And that's how I basically built it up. That's how I built my local business. Because people, when they go to Google, let's say I need a new car tire. I type in Woodbridge tires, same as people for you. They'll type in hypnotherapy, Basingstoke, hypnotherapy, Carmarthenshire, hypnotherapy, Auckland. That's what they type in. They don't type in Lotus Flowers Are Us. They type in where they are, what they want. That's how you do it. You all do it yourselves. Apply that to the way that you're doing your websites, or in future when you're looking at your website, because that's what happens. That's why I bought around here, Woodbridge, Aldborough, all of those ones when I got here, because nobody had them, and I've kept them, and I'll just use them in future. But I've still got all those ones, and they're 70 mile away. They're of no use to me now, not unless I really want to take over the East Coast and then have it all that way. But on the same token, that's one way of doing it. David Banfield, you need to finish that up. And Anthony, regarding the system Karl just mentioned, could you just finish that off, please, mate? Airshare. Yeah. But the key thing is if you can get your local area or your local village, like stuff, or like Suffolk Hypnotherapy, Norfolk Hypnotherapy, Ayrshire Hypnotherapy, or anything like that, they're really good. They're really good things to get your hands on, because you can then utilize them and get yourself a shitty little website, or change your website to that, because then you'll become that's what people are searching for. David, if you could just
I think how far would people travel for your service? So
I've had people fly from Vancouver, and so for me it's different. For you, for me it's different. But I've had people, look, this is fun. This is how queer folk are. I've had people that are 3 miles away from me going, well, it's a little bit too far. And I sit there and go, hang on a minute. I've just had somebody fly in from Vancouver. I've had somebody from Los Angeles. I had somebody fly from Australia. I had to meet them in Dubai. It was for a TV show that I can't talk about, but that was a real big TV show. And I had to fly to Dubai for it. People, if they want it, they will have it. It's as simple as that. They flew me with a private jet all the way to Dubai to meet the TV crew from Australia in Dubai to go work with them. If people want your services, they will go, and they will do anything they can to do it. Cheers, David. Anthony, regarding what Karl just mentioned, would the same result be achieved with used subdomains? Me linking.
Yes. You can have woodbridge.karlsmithhypnotherapy.com or basingstoke.karlsmithhypnotherapy.com. Yes, it would work. And each of those subdomains would need to point to a specific page. You can have just one website with lots of pages, many of which are not in the menus or anything. But each of those pages is tailored to that location, and that's how you would get the webs of your net into those search results, basically.
Yeah.
So that would work, absolutely.
Yeah, cool. So right, we've got 5 minutes left, guys. Has this been of help tonight? That's the main thing. Has this helped you? Have I given you enough? Believe it or not, guys, this is why. When I first started out, and I'm telling you now, right, and I don't give a shit what people think. If you disagree with me, that's fine. But on the same token, this is why I drill into you: business first, marketeer second, therapist third. If you get them the wrong way round, you're screwed. And the key thing is, the key thing about this is that I've learned. What people don't realize is that I've spent when I first met Anne, I was sitting there talking about SEO, backlinks, this, that, and the other. And it's like, are you fucking weird? Because people go to Anthony and they wouldn't know any of that. And I'm sitting there going, yeah, I've got this and I've got that. And that little thing there about buying all those villages around me, those villages like that, and then building small shitty websites that I'm not really interested in, but pointing directly to one main website is what I wanted. And that worked for me. That accelerated me up because I was getting so many hits because the local people were going, Beccles Hypnotherapy, Halesworth Hypnotherapy, Southwold Hypnotherapy. And plus, those websites were sitting there. And at one stage, all my websites just took over the page. My websites took over the page because they were all just in a linear line. I was just sitting there like that going, this is brilliant. I've taken over the whole lot of my local area. And that works such a treat. So it's something to think about. Is have a primary, really, really good website, but have a load of little ditty ones that are just mediocre that will just feed.
This kind of touches on the point we were talking about off air, where the build it and they will come mentality doesn't work online. Just because you've built a website, if you're not driving traffic, if you're not taking action to drive traffic to it, no one's ever going to find it. So going out and thinking about your clients, your customers, and where they're based, how far they will travel to come see you, buying a domain in their area, putting up a little one-page website, optimized with a picture of their area so they immediately recognize it as, oh, okay, then I'll read on. Oh, okay, well, he's going to be down the road. It is a great tactic to use to start to drive traffic to your main website. And as a result, will go up in the search rankings.
Yeah, and that's one of the key things as well, is about, if you build it, they will come. And you've got to remember, when I did those other websites, when I had like the Southwold and all that lot, is that what I did is I went to those villages and took pretty pictures of like the churches, and I took pretty pictures of the green, and I took pretty pictures. I wasn't particularly interested in what was going on. I just wanted to give them the feel, oh, this person's local, this person knows our area. It gives them that feel. And then what happens is when they click on it, oh, I thought you were in Beccles. Oh, yeah, that's the other website that feeds to us. But yeah, I'm only down the road. And you still get people that small money. Oh, yes, but you're 3 miles away. And like, well, I can do a house visit. Oh dear, no, I'll find somebody that's closer, dear. You're like, you're not my client anyway, so piss off. So the thing is that's the way. That's the way. Have a look at that. One question just then, I'm going to answer this as well, is that when you buy domains for these areas, do you get the .coms? If in England or in your local area, let's say you're David and Colette that are down in Australia, is that I would buy .nz or I'd buy Australian.net. In England, if you're ferreting around trying to get UK clients and they're only like, let's say you're, I don't know, Edgbaston, right? Let's say, because Birmingham, who asked that then? I don't know where you are, Jane, in the country. But let's say Dartington, like Dartington with Simon down there. I would only bother my arse with dartington.co.uk. I would only bother with bungiehypnotherapy.co.uk. There's no point with a .com. However, when you start sazzing things up and you're no longer a village fucking idiot and a global asset, when you think about being a global asset, that's when you start buying .net, .tv, .academy, .live, lots of different things. Anthony's been in the back end of Fasthost for me, right? And I'm up to about 86. I've got about 80 odd different domains, 80 plus different domains. And I sit there, I'm such a sick bastard. I will sit there and think, oh, that's a good idea. And I'll go buy the domain name, and I'll buy the domain name so then I can figure it out. It's like, one of the ones that I've just bought as well is called the Silent Theory, or the Silent Theory. As something that I want to develop. It's called the Silent Theory. Most of you realize that I like being quiet when I'm doing a session. So the Silent Theory is something that I'm going to develop within Hypnosis. And it all develop everything that I've got there, teaching people how to do the Silent Theory. So I bought the web domain, all of that type of stuff. And then all of the other bloody domains I've got. There's so many that I've got there. I buy them, and then if I don't want them, I discard them. But that's what you do. All right. So literally, you know, something like the silent theory, I'll go, right, I like that. Mental welfare coach. I bought mentalwelfarecoach.com, .net, .org, .tv. I bought the whole raft. So if anyone was looking for that and they go, well, I want to buy mental welfare coach like that and piss Karl off and do that, well, they're going to have something that's shite. And there's not much out there. Do you know what I mean? So I future-proof myself, like ukha.tv, stuff like that. Things that I think about for the future, about what I'm going to develop and how I'm going to develop in the future a certain thing. And I may buy it and I may never use it. I think I was talking to, who was I talking to the other day? It weren't Max. It was, I can't remember who it was the other day I was talking to the other day, but we were talking about buy.com, Seattle. Oh, Seattle. We were talking about Seattle. And he says it's only .com. Get it. Fucking buy it. Have it, because if nobody's bought it, you'll shit yourself in a couple of years' time. I looked at about 10 years ago buying carlsmith.com. Oh, it'd have been brilliant. Then some fucking car salesman up in Blackpool bought it, the bastard. Anyway, but the thing is that, you know, you've got that, you know, just little things like that. So when you're buying it, if it's for a local village, just buy .co.uk. If it's you're thinking global, then think about the other things that come with it as well.
So
all
start
right.
small. Start with .co.uk in the UK or whatever's local to you for now.
Yeah, NZ, Australia, whatever it is, you buy that, and then it becomes applicable. So like that. So is it worth buying the domain name now? I would do if it's available. If there's something that you're thinking about, a project, I would do that. So the other day when I bought Silent Theory, I bought the Silent Theory. Is that something I'm developing in my own head? That's something that will come out? So I went and bought the web domain and went, oh, is it there? It's like the other day I bought Disruptive Hypnotist and Disruptive Therapist for potential other jobs. And I thought, well, they're quite nice. And I bought a couple more today. I'm not going to mention them on here now, but I bought a couple more the other day for something else that I'm planning to make a community. So, you know, it's always there. You're always thinking, how can I use that? And one thing that I did learn is buy the domain, then tell people. That's why I didn't open my mouth then, because there are vicious bastards out there that go, oh, that's a nice idea, I'm going to have that. And they go out to go buy a domain name. And before you know it, they've bought it. And because they're thick as mints and they didn't have any idea themselves and didn't know what to do with it, they just thought they'd buy it because they're buying malicious. Then got a clue and nobody's got it at all then, because they're just an idiot. So we just think it like that. So yeah, I buy domain names probably 2 a month, maybe 1 a month. I'll buy things and then develop it in my head. And if it doesn't work, I'll just delete it, pay for that year. And for $7 or £7 or £3 or £4, it's well worth just bartering on, staying onto that, you know. So yeah. Best name value domain name. I've always used Fast Hosts. If anyone's got any more that they want to do, like GoDaddy or anything like that, you can go do that. But I've always found Fast Hosts are really, really good. Fast Hosts, they're an international company as well. And, you know, if there's a mistake or a problem, they're very good. They're sorting the tickets out quite quickly. A ticket's when something goes wrong.
There's lots of different providers for domain names, and there's also offered as well, isn't there? 99p for the first year, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Have a shop around, just Google it. We use a good one, 20i. They're quite good.
All right.
Domain name provider, but yeah, there's millions of them, and you have to shop around because the price for one might be different on a different provider, even though the domain name is the same.
Yeah.
So
I checked one out earlier. And by the way, right, here's another top tip. I'm not going to tell you something in a moment. I went and did some research on a project that I'm planning at the moment for a big community. And I searched on one and it told me $7.99. I went and searched on another one and it said £3,500. Be mindful, right, that if you do a search and you search for something, that Fast Host and all that lot, they cotton onto it and they think, oh, and in a couple of days' time, they put the price up. Don't stick it, look for it. And if you want it, buy it there and then, because that'll be the cheapest thing. Because in a couple of days' time, those sneaky little bastards will put your price right up. So I mean, I've always been with Fast Host. I've never touch wood, never had a problem with them. But like Anthony just said, 20i, GoDaddy, they're all there. You can just go buy what you need to and stuff like that wherever you need them, right? So you've got that anyway. So yeah.
Tip to quickly chuck in there: do buy the domain name privacy as well.
Yes.
I think it's a couple of quid. It just stops you getting hundreds of Indian phone calls after you buy the domain name. Not being racist, but like they just call up out of the blue. Do you want a website for your new domain? No, I've got someone in mind, or for the extra £2, it saves you so much time.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, just stop the crank phone calls coming in. But hey, guys, we're coming to an end now. We're coming to an end because I know Anthony likes his food and he'll want to go get his tea. So the thing is that have you enjoyed tonight, and show your appreciation for Anthony for doing what he's done. That'd be great. Yeah. But yeah, it's always great to have these little things. And don't forget, it's Showcase Web Development, showcasewebdevelopment.co.uk. Doesn't matter if you're overseas, it doesn't matter. You can still speak to Ant. If you want an audit done on your website, contact Ant. I use Ant, it's only because I needed something specialist done on a couple of other websites. But if you want to look at Anthony's work, go to karlsmithhypnotherapy.com. In fact, if I just put that across the bottom as well, if I just do this, if you go to that one there, book a private session with Karl, karlsmithhypnotherapy.com, that's the one there. So literally, you can have a look at that and see what Ant's work's like and stuff like that. And, there's so many little cheats out there. Like I've told you tonight, not many of you would have thought that I was a sick bastard. But Anthony, I bet you didn't know I'd done that either as well. Bought all the little villages and then literally threw them into the middle.
Story that you've not kept. It's one of the rare stories that you've kept not to share with me. That's fine.
Well, apart from the naked running around Bedfordshire, but the thing is that that's something I did years ago. I just bought all those little domains and then I just pointed them just to one website. And that was something I learned really quickly. So, at the end of the day, I hope you've enjoyed tonight. And thanks very much if you just stay on after the little dance and all that type of stuff. And guys, don't forget his website's below. Just have a look at it. Showcasewebdevelopment.co.uk. Have a look at it. Speak to Anthony. If you want an audit done, speak to Anthony. Like I said, guys, I'm not getting anything off of Anthony. Nothing apart from a curry, 10 crates of gin, and lots of massages when I next sit. No, I'm joking. So the thing is, guys, thanks very much. 7:30 tomorrow is with myself. It's questions and answers with a hypnotist. Get your questions and answers ready. I will answer anything from business all the way through to websites, all the way through to SEO, all the way through to techniques and ideas, concepts, anything that you want to do, as long as it's in the hypnosis or hypnotherapy organs, do it. Not like one that I had the other day is that, am I available to rub your feet? No, I'm not. Not unless the money's right. Guys and girls, thanks very, very, very much for attending. And thanks very much for being with us. And I look forward to seeing you soon, buddy. And guys, see you 7:30 tomorrow. Don't forget, guys, go out there, practice. And when you finish practicing, practice some more. Thanks very much, guys. And look forward to seeing you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.